Hey, my friends, how are you? Greetings from home/job site. It's been a while since I did a video for you guys, so I thought it was definitely overdue that I give you guys a little update on what's been going on. I'm standing right now on my balcony right here with laundry drying and everything. I've been here now for like 3 weeks. And so far so good. You know, I'm still working on getting a couple things figured out. You can see there behind me the other two cabinas are still undone, but construction starts again on them tomorrow. Right now it is Sunday, late July, mid-July. What is today? That's a good question. Anyway, it's Sunday because I've been laying around doing a whole lot of nothing today. Yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update and show you around and show you what's been going on and everything. How's that view right there? Let me swing around so you guys can see the rest of the cabina from the inside. So here we are. Let me give you a big zoom or a big wide angle. Whoop! There we go. So here we have it. This is more or less what we're looking at here. So I got a great big king size bed, unmade, of course. Sorry I didn't do much prep for you guys. I'm just getting ready to take the dogs for a walk. Dude's right there eagerly waiting. My car's in the shop, so we're just going to walk around the neighborhood a little bit. But I was like, man, I really owe you guys a video. So this place is just kind of a big old studio. I mean, and it's big. It's big. I mean, that's a king size bed right there. The idea here is eventually I'll do a sofa along here and make it a little bit more. I mean, eventually this is going to be a rental property like the other two, but for now I'm living in this one so I can save myself a little bit of money. Look at this awesome quilt that my mom gave me when she came down. She actually didn't do that one, but she made that one. Pretty cool. She was down here a few weeks ago and got a chance to see everything. You know, I was moved in at that point, but I still put her up down at the Terraza Hotel right near where I usually take the dogs for a walk. But I mean, look at this. It's like anywhere you look, it's a beautiful view. So that's looking pretty much east right there. And even from this little kitchen window that I've got here, I put in this door here, you get a nice view up into the hills. And then of course, this direction here, you get the super view. So like when you're lying in bed right there, this is the view that you get. It's a little after 5 o'clock. Sun's starting to set, but it's setting right there right now. Later on, as we get closer to winter time and stuff, it's right over the water, so it's pretty cool. You know, it's cozy right now. I would say I need a little bit more storage. I still have a couple things to do. I want to do closet doors, of course, right there. I don't even have a bathroom door yet, which I was kind of debating doing at all, but yeah, kind of need a bathroom door. I mean, these are just going to be amazing for rentals. I'm just utterly convinced that these are going to do well. I just have to cross the finish line, which we're getting to. But nice little balcony, you know, a little small, but enough room to do like a little bistro set, a couple chairs and a little table right there. And then, I don't know if you saw, let me show you here real quick before we go downstairs, that if you remember, this was going to be a staircase up to a rooftop deck that we decided to delete. It just made the building a little too unstable, and I know my neighbors didn't like the fact that I could just totally look over into their pool. That's one of the reasons why they decided to put up this privacy fence, which I don't blame them. And eventually the vines will crawl up this fence enough that we can probably take this green stuff down. But this is kind of a nice spot to come out and sit and you know, enjoy the morning. Well, not really sit, but stand, I guess. It's just a balcony. I did have some thoughts about extending it out here once we finish off this storage room right here. And maybe we'll do that so that it's got a little bit more of a deck on it. But for now, it's a nice little spot to even be able just to come out and catch some morning breezes and stuff like that. Just enjoy the view without looking out of a window. But window or not, it's a pretty awesome view. So, okay, buddy, you ready? Let's go downstairs. Get your sister. I am a little concerned about Babe and the stairs. You know, she's 9 almost, and she's a big old girl. She's a big Rottweiler. She's just a big boned girl, and I can tell she's not crazy about going up and down the stairs, but that's okay. Go on, buddy. You can go ahead. I'm right behind you. You're such a good boy. It's my buddy right there. Car's in the shop right now. He's like, oh my God, there's no car. That's right, because it's in the shop. Getting some things worked on. When you've got a 25-year-old car, you might not have car payments, but there's always something that you got to get fixed. Ah, there's my finger again. A classic Dave video where you can see my finger. There's the bike. Pretty sure it's sold. I'm pretty sure my buddy Mike is going to take it. Yes, I know, honey. We're going. I know there's no car to get into. We're just going to go for a walk up the hill. But yeah, I'm really excited that these are going to start getting worked on again tomorrow. This one's essentially done. Other than those doors upstairs, they're going to finish off the posts here and, you know, make them look pretty like that and then paint them. I know they are, honey. I swear they are. Redirect the water, right? We used to have the tanks that are tucked back here. When we were having some trouble with the well, I had one of them set up here, so at least we could collect like rainwater for miscellaneous stuff. Wasn't really good for drinking or cooking or anything like that, but it's tucked back in there. Yes, we're going. They're like, who are you talking to? Why are you taking so long? But they're going to finish off that wall too with the same stucco and get it painted and everything. And then, of course, these other walls, and then they're going to go great gangbusters on getting these two guys done. Yeah, baby, we're going. They'll take down, you can see that was the remnants of a staircase that was going to go up to a rooftop deck there. And again, we just had to delete that idea. It just wasn't going to work. Kind of a little bit of an expensive mistake. But we're going to leave the upper platform for the air conditioner. We're going to leave the lower platform for the same type of little balcony that we had over here for this guy. So that'll be kind of cool. A little spot for each one of the guests to be able to pop their head out. You know, I kind of had a thought of like kicking it out here and coming out just a little bit more, where you'd actually have room for another little bistro set, couple tables and chairs, but things like that we can add in the future. You know, it's really not that hard. We've got support beams right here, so it wouldn't be hard to support a little balcony right there. But for now, they're just going to be the little balconies that you see. We'll get them finished off. We're going to get all the pools done. So that includes the one over on my side too. You know, if these things start renting well enough, I'll rent out the one that I'm living in, and I'll go find a little rental down the hill. I don't really necessarily want to be right on top of my guests, living right next to them. And with 2 dogs and a gaggle of cats, I want it to be something that's a little bit nicer for, oh, what was that? I heard that too, buddy. You didn't like that. It went boom. And you know, there's things like that you have to contend with when you have dogs on the property. Now, excuse me, one thought I had though was, you know, once these suckers are done, we'll get all this construction stuff cleaned up, and you know, I might just get a simple little camper and put it over there where the bodega is, where the little storage shed is, and you know, then I can do a little fence line and keep the dogs over on that side, and they're not going to be bothering the guests or anything like that. Have a fence, you know, that ties into this fence, so it just creates a little bit of a separation between the 3 cabinas and kind of the unfinished part of the lot. And you know, we're going to see how the cabinas do, and then we'll start looking into what I want to do with the rest of this property. You know, right now the idea is just to do kind of a garden area with like a hacienda ramada down on that end, kind of an open outdoor kitchen there, potentially maybe like an owner's suite over on this side. But if you haven't heard me say this before, my thought with this property is I really wanted it to be my retirement gig. I wanted this to be a source of revenue for me, kind of passive income through rentals and hosting functions up here, weddings and birthday parties and things like that. Looks like we're gonna have a nice sunset tonight. But as things go, as I'm sure a lot of you know, everything goes long and goes over budget. So, these are over budget and, it's taken a long time to get them done. So I really want to see how they generate some income before I start embarking on this part of the property. In the short term, we'll just get this all nice and cleaned up. You can see these lines here that are in the ground where the idea was, this was going to be the original plans for the main house. I was going to do a main house along here. I know it feels like it's right up against the fence, but that's because we didn't really utilize the space as well as we could when we put up the fence. It was mostly just for security. But there's a bit more land right on the other side. You can kind of see where it drops off if you look through the fence line. You can see that there's more land that I have on the other side. So eventually we'll take down some of this fence and repurpose it somewhere else, maybe across the street. But we'll do a retaining wall like we have pretty much around half of the property, a little bit more than half. It ends right about here. So we'd have to finish the retaining wall along here to the gate. And that'll probably be the first thing that we do when I do start in on this project. But they had started to cut in some lines here just so we could get an idea of what the main house's footprint was going to be. And to be perfectly honest with you, I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. It was feeling too much just like a modern box. And, I've already got modern boxes feeling right there. So, I just didn't really want to do it. It just, maybe it was the plans themselves, but I just wasn't crazy about how it was fitting on this piece of property. So, how did that fall down? That could have only fallen down if somebody was messing with it. I wasn't messing with it. I used to have this bench set up right here. You can see. And it hasn't been that windy. I know it was a wobbly bench, but it shouldn't have fallen over. Do I see any signs that anybody's been up here who shouldn't be? The dogs wouldn't let that happen. They would be barking their heads off at somebody. That's really the only way you can get around the fence there. And I put the cinder blocks mostly just to discourage the dogs from going around the edge here. And it's definitely working. They know where their turf is now. They don't mess around with it. But yeah, that just looks a little strange that got knocked off there like that. I don't know how that would have happened. Anyhow, no signs of anybody up here. No signs of anybody coming around the corner. So, okay, I'll put that back up later when I'm not trying to hold the phone for you guys. Oh, there goes my finger again. That always happens when I go into the wide angle mode. It's like as soon as my finger goes even remotely in front of the camera, it's like, oh, there it is. You can see my fingerprints. Maybe I'll do a little bit of a burn tonight. This is just a bunch of remnant wood that isn't going to get used for anything. There's some remnant wood over there too. And just do a little fire tonight. Yeah, I think that's a good plan. But this is where we're at, my friends, on, like, I want to say July 18th or something like that. We're getting there. We're getting there. I'm really excited that the guys are all showing up again tomorrow. Same group of guys. It's Ricardo and his crew, the ones who did such a great job for me most recently, putting the roofs on and doing the support walls and everything like that to make these things a lot stronger. They'll be doing all the rest of everything, finishing it down to the very last bit. They won't do any landscaping or anything like that. But I do have a great friend, couple great friends, David and Sylvia in San Jose. And David actually has a sod farm. So for the areas that we're going to do in grass, so each one of these cabinas is going to have a privacy fence around it. And this one, the privacy fence will go between the staircase here and the septic tank right there. And then this area underneath here, and as we come around the corner, coming up to the edge of the pool, we'll do this with grass and then probably do some planters, stuff like that. I do still need to figure out some way to get creative with a barrier along here so that when you're enjoying the pool, you're not feeling like you're also sitting in the garage. The wall's going to look a lot better once they get it all finished and everything, and that'll be nice. So it won't look quite so industrial, but I got to figure out a way to kind of warm up the space a little bit. Am I going to do some sort of fencing along the edge here? Now we do also have each one of these pump rooms here. The third one, mine being kind of the largest. Well, hi there. That's Flash. Good boy. But we'll cut these trees back, and I've got some artificial grass that I'm going to put on these so that it creates another little spot to sit. And, you know, each one of these will have both the upstairs that they can enjoy the view, and then down here by their little romantic plunge pool, another little spot right here. So, one thing that I've been working on, I mean, literally for months and months, has been getting my electrical situation sorted out. Let's head out here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Come on, baby. Here she comes. Such good dogs. Take our little walk. Now, before I get into the electrical while I'm standing here, one of the phases in the future, phase 822, as it's turning out to be, is a thought I had about doing a multi-use deck on this side. You know, the soil here is really solid. So, hey, come on, honey, this way. Come on, guys, let's go. So doing a multi-use deck here that could be used just to enjoy this beautiful view, but also a place where we could put some glamping tents. I also have some thoughts about incorporating some platforms over on the undone lot over here in the garden area, where we can have a couple glamping tents too. And even if they're not actually being used for camping, it'd be nice to have those in the event you're having a wedding or something and the ladies want a place where they can do their makeup and put their clothes on and change and everything. That'll be a really nice space for them without having to incur the cost of building another structure. The other thing too is that the way that this property is zoned is they just won't allow that many structures on the property, that much square footage. Now, a deck doesn't count as square footage, either does a hacienda, because they're open-sided, because they're not like living spaces, they're not livable. So I can get away with doing a deck and glamping tents because the deck is not a living space and tents are not permanent structures. So we'd still want to run all of our electricity and everything over here, but that's beside the point. That doesn't affect anything. But speaking of electricity, man, has this been a fiasco. So originally we put this up with the idea that we would string from the transformer, which we'll walk up to here, it's behind that tree, over to here. Well, then every time the electrical company came out, they're called ICE, I-C-E, you would say ICE, but here it's ICE. They said one thing after another. So the idea was that it would connect here and then string across to here. First they said, oh, your distance is too long. Hey, there's Mel. There's Mr. Mel. Let's zoom in on him. Hey, buddy, what's up? We need to take him to the vet. He's got some kind of skin condition that's bothering him right now. Looks like he's got mange, but they say it's not mange. It might be mites. But, I mean, I gave him some medication and it didn't really do that much. I thought it was helping, but he needs some help. But he's such a good boy. Okay, zoom back here. Okay, I keep up with the dogs. So then they were telling me I need my own transformer and that the distance was too long and that we didn't have the right plans for the gauge of wire and blah, 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 blah. So finally, I got put in touch with this awesome dude, Eduardo, who I think he was an engineer for ICE for a while, but now I know that his eldest son is an engineer with ICE. So to say that he knows what he's doing would be an understatement. But the only solution that we could come up with is to ask my neighbor here, Angelo, whose property is managed by a guy named Michael, who works out of Hako Realty down. His office is directly below the clinic in Hako Walk. And they very graciously allowed me to, they're allowing me an exception, an easement, they call it, to be able to do a pole right in here. So we'll string the line from there to there, and then diagonally over to my place there, to that pole on that side, and then we'll be able to delete this pole entirely. In fact, I think we're going to reuse that pole in this location, just so that we can, for one, take down an extra ugly pole, but also put it to work. So that's where we're at with the electrical situation. We're gonna hopefully get started on that this next week too. And one great thing about having Eduardo helping is that because he's so in with Issei, he'll probably be able to speed up the time that it takes. Usually once you put in your permit and everything's accepted, it takes about 2 weeks to get the truck to come out. And I mean, each time I waited the 2 weeks, they came out and had another excuse for not getting it done. But he's going to be able to hopefully expedite that process a bit quicker. So I'm really hopeful that we'll solve that problem here, because I've been borrowing electricity from Chuck and Edie, which are down the hill even further. And I mean, they've been freaking awesome about the whole thing, but I don't want to overload their transformer or anything like that. And they were a bit concerned about me even living in the property because of the extra load on their transformer, which is kind of maxed out for the houses that it supplies. So in the short term, I haven't been using the AC or the hot water heater or anything like that, just to be respectful of them. And that seems to be doing the trick. But it's also the rainy season. It's not so hot right now. When it gets hot, we're going to need that air conditioner. But anyway, hopefully that's going to be done here soon. Ricardo, who both other times when we did contracts together, he finished the project ahead of time. He's anticipating that it's only going to be 7 to 8 weeks to get the other 2 cabinas done and ready to go. So we will be ready way before the peak season. And I really think that Costa Rica is going to have a good season this year. And unfortunately, a lot of that is going to be at the cost of U.S. tourism, is the fact that people are less interested right now in traveling to the U.S., you know, particularly international travelers. And international travelers love Costa Rica. Can't figure out quite how to hold that without having my finger on the way. So I think we're going to do okay. I think we're going to do okay with rentals on those. I'm kind of shooting for about the $200 a night mark. I figure with that incredible view and having your own pool, covered parking on a secure road. You know, there's only half a dozen houses up here off of this road right now. And we have a beautiful gate down at the bottom of the hill that is just about done being repaired. So it's super secure up here. And when you're up here, it's like you're a world away from everything. It's just, you know, quiet little road that, in fact, my friends hadn't ever even been up here. They're like, I didn't even know this road went that far up. So you really get left alone up here, and it's just so quiet. You know, in my other house where I was renting, I loved it. But in the mornings, I was woken up by chickens and kids and dogs. And here it's just silent. In fact, at night, even with my fan running, I can hear the breakers all the way down. I mean, well, you can't really see anymore. We turned the corner. But all the way down the hill, you know, from the ocean, I mean, you can hear the sound of the breakers. It's just so cool. So, fingers crossed that this all works out. You know, I want it to, but man, this whole project has been so humbling. It's kicked my ass every single step. 1 step forward, 2 steps back, it feels like. First time I've ever done anything like this. It's a big project, and I decided to do it in a foreign country. So I guess I kind of had it coming. I will say, like I always do, that I am so incredibly grateful for my incredible family, my dad and my bonus mom, Barb, and my actual mom, Carol, have just been amazingly supportive in all of this. And I can't thank them enough. But this is one of those things, maybe I'll stop so I'm not huffing and puffing. It's kind of a steep hill, in case you were wondering why I'm gasping. I'm not gasping, but you can hear I'm breathing a little harder. But I don't have any kids, so I like the idea of having a legacy for some of the rest of my family. Something, you know, a place where they can all come and take advantage of and come hang out with Uncle Dave in Costa Rica. So yeah, it's like I want to give back to the family everything they've given to me, and this will be one of my ways of doing that. So all right, my friends, it's kind of been a little bit of a long video, but there was a lot to get you caught up on. So thank you guys so much for listening. I'll try to give you an update here soon once the guys are up here working hard. It's not going to be a nice, quiet, peaceful spot here for the next couple months. It's going to get a little loud and dirty, and but hey, it's all good. It's all just to get this project done. So, okay, my friends, till next time, take care. Pura vida.